The golden retriever theory
Yes.
is just like we see them in movies and they're always friendly. So like when we see the dog, we're more likely to be like, oh, I can pet the dog, or like I smile at it, and then the dog's like, oh, I'm awesome. Like they love me. Everyone loves me.
Yeah.
And everybody goes up, and it's like a self-reinforcing loop.
Yeah.
And then their confidence in being around other people, their happiness and levels, versus the opposite. It was like a really scary looking dog. Everyone would be kind of standoffish. Like every time, like if they can sense the anxiety, like the body language, and maybe the chemicals, pheromones or whatever.
Absolutely.
Hormones. I don't know. The stress hormones and stuff like that the dogs can smell maybe.
Yeah.
And then they're like, ugh. Every time they see me, like these people, they don't trust me. Maybe I shouldn't trust them.
Incel dogs.
Incel dogs, incel people, and then like maybe that carries to the people too. Like, okay.
Look at each other, not the camera. 3, 2, 1. That's pretty good.
That makes sense. That's a trick. Look at each other.
Yeah.
So we know.
I always heard the thing about high-fiving people to look at their elbow, and you won't miss a high five, but it's like, at the same time, maybe I'm just a Chad, but I don't miss high fives, bro.
Really?
I always land that shit.
Whoa, that's pretty good.
Really good high fiver.
Wow, I'm such a good high fiver. Yeah. Okay. So this is podcast number 3.
Podcast number 3.
Yes,
back.
we're doing it. We haven't released any of them, but you don't know that, and we don't know that.
Yeah.
We do know that.
We know that, but
you don't know that.
we're gonna be roofing ourselves after this,
yes.
So we're not gonna remember anything about this podcast.
Can you imagine, like, I think in the near future we have like Neuralink that you can just like choose to forget things.
You're like that was a shit day at work.
Yeah.
Like, let's just scrub that.
Or yeah, we have
that'd
bad.
be good. It's like that. Was it Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind?
Oh, okay.
I think that's about taking away painful memories, and like it's about him having a relationship with Kate.
Right.
I think. I mean,
yeah.
I haven't actually seen it.
Well, so. I have seen it, but I can't remember because it's a complicated movie.
So I'll tell you what it's about.
Yeah. And maybe I use the device to forget it myself. But I don't know.
So you hated it?
Oh, I don't know. I thought it was pretty good. So I guess there's something kind of interesting. So it's like February 2022. There's potential war with Russia and Ukraine.
That's right.
And
that's right.
You know, some craziness going on, like inflation, and the stock market's weird. And what else is going on? COVID's going strong, but although it's a bit better, there's like some restrictions lifted.
COVID's good. There's global warming going on.
Yeah.
So the future is, I mean, maybe promising isn't the right word, but
yeah.
You know, I just hope that when World War III happens, they send me somewhere like nice. That's
somewhere
kind
cool.
of like the right temperature. It's not so hot.
Yeah.
You know, like
and with
all that
more
armor.
girls.
I'm serving with the ladies.
Yeah. That'd be pretty good.
That would be awesome.
I don't know if I want to be in a war, but so it's just like overall the vibe's kind of weird. But I heard about this like so I've been studying like blockchain technology and things like that, and then someone made this like remark, or it was like a podcast, and they were talking about this like potential for this type of, it's called like, it's like a crowdsourced autonomous assassinations. Which, like, it sounds really crazy. And, like, I'm not making this up.
I love the sound of it so far.
It's not my idea.
Yeah.
So, like, don't get mad. It was, like, just, like, a thought experiment of, like, they could do this.
Yeah.
So, it's, like, our technology is getting really good. Like, in the last few years, like, if you just look at how amazing just being able to go on Netflix and then how much data you're getting, like, it's in 4K. It's, like, never down. It always works. And you're paying, like, an hour of your paycheck or something like that. Just a month to get like such high quality,
which I think is honestly a worthwhile trade-off.
It's a great trade-off, right? And just like the AI and the recommendations that you're getting on Netflix and YouTube, they're pretty good. Like they give you interesting things. So it's like this overall sense of the technology is moving forward. And then you also hear in like the medical space, like there's DNA like CRISPR editing, gene editing, and things like that. There's like the mRNA vaccine came out so quickly. And so like I'm kind of working towards the idea that it's like our technology is getting really good, but then there's like also the potential for like more and more dangerous weapons to come up, and like it's being more like easy to do by small scale actors. So that's like just like a little overview of like the theme of the podcast I was listening to.
Yeah.
But then they're talking about this like potential for these automatic assassinations, whereas like they're crowdsourcing assassinations, where so the blockchain, like as a brief overview, we're familiar with it in terms of like Bitcoin and decentralized applications. So just think of it as like, instead of a central entity doing something, it could be spread out over a large group of people, and it's not owned by any company, by any server. It's kind of a blockchain. It's like a decentralized distributed database that people can operate, that they can work and they can fund together, and it can't be shut down. You think of it like BitTorrent, like torrenting something.
I was just thinking that how everybody's holding like a little piece of the file, so it's like you're not actually violating the law, because I don't have this movie, I just have 5% of this movie.
Right. And so like they weren't able to shut down Pirate Bay or anything like that.
Yeah.
But they can, in a way, like get people in trouble, because you need to get the server up, and you need some names, and you need an address, and you need like some kind of information, and like the domain.
Someone on the grid.
Yeah, I don't know the specifics, but I think there's like ways to track like who's hosting the website and things like that. Yeah. But then like with blockchain, it's like totally spread out, and like I'm taking a long time to build up to this. But then like so when you think of that, they're able to do this, like people without being able to kind of really trust each other, can trust each other as long as they trust the technology that they're using.
Yeah.
So they've been thinking like on the like dark web. It's been known for like drugs and like hitmen and things like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
Child porn.
Yeah, that too. Yeah. And then they're thinking like maybe eventually you can have like this decentralized blockchain, but it's like you can put like bids and crowdsource, like if someone you don't like insert like political figure you don't like here, or like douchebag billionaire you don't like here, and then like as long as there's someone that really doesn't like them, they can, and they like, people are strong, they feel strongly about people they don't know, like it's like to the point where they want to
and it's
kill
becoming
them.
more intense.
It's becoming more intense, right? More like tribal and like your community. So like think of it as like, as long as they have this access to the technology, that it's like a blockchain, it's like it's a application that anyone can get into. No one has to host it, no one has to maintain it. And then it's immutable, so like you can just add on to the database, but you can't change it. So it's, you trust the technology because you're adding onto it, and you have a record of everything that's been added onto it. So you can trust this to use as like a means of funding things. So it's a kind of crowdfunding an assassination. So you might put in like someone that you don't like, and then the more and more people, it could be like millions of dollars. And once it reaches a certain cap, someone could, kill that person via a drone. Even someone doesn't have to do it.
That's the mental image I had. It was just like a drone that like just shoots people, electrocutes them to death and shit like that. Yeah. Just fly in your window and you're like, what's that?
Because we have so much data now. Yeah. And they were talking about how like, one fear about like this like Ancestry and 23andMe was like people that would use a service, like they're putting their DNA out there. But then there's like this thing I didn't know about it. It's called like pheromone tracking. Like you might in the near future be able to like just really like lock down where someone is and surveil them with like drones that don't have to sleep. And I don't know if you've seen like recent drone footage, but it's so impressive. Like there's people that race drones and they can do like really crazy impossible maneuvers, and they're so fast. They can go through like a little hole, like a window really quickly. And all you have to do is like get that technology cheap enough. Yeah. And then you can like take down anything, like a commercial airplane. Like what are you going to do? You're going to put like I don't know, anti-drone weapons on all these planes.
Just if there are people out there on the internet who get to be as into and as good at killing people with drones as they are at like playing Dark Souls and stuff like that,
right?
And, like, playing League.
Yeah.
If that effort starts getting channeled into like extremism on the internet.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh boy.
And so they can, for example, if there's this kind of this blockchain of this automatic assassinations, someone would just have to, and it's all like pseudonymous or like anonymous. So it's like they still need like their kind of blockchain address or something, but there's ways to hide it. There's some like blockchains that like scramble it, so it'll like put a pool of like 5 people together, scramble the transaction or the stuff, and then move it. So you can keep funding. Everyone can put like crowdsource, like a Kickstarter, like put in like $50, $10, and then eventually like there could be like millions of dollars for a hit on someone, and there could be incentive, like if they don't want to get killed. That person might have to pay a bounty of like 2x, so you're putting more money into the system, and then maybe like the next 2 people
buying off your assassination.
Yeah, maybe the next 2 people, the money that the person buys off, maybe it goes and funds the next 2.
Another 2 hits. Oh,
yeah,
God.
And then they're like, so you just need a way to verify that the person was dead, whatever killed them was there at the scene, and I don't know the exact details, but they were just talking about how it could just do a timestamp of that time. It can maybe have some footage, like the drone can have some footage of the situation. And as long as they have some way to verify it, the funds on this trustless network and the system can be automatically provided to whoever carried out the hit. And then like drones is one way, and I was talking about like the DNA stuff.
Like Fox Die.
Yeah, like Fox Die, like in Metal Gear Solid, where it's like they can target individual people. It's not that far out there. And like that CRISPR gene editing, like, have you heard of that guy in China who, like, he did it on his own kids? Like, he didn't even hold a team, but he just did it himself. He gave them this, like, it was like a gene that helped prevent against HIV transmission.
What the fuck?
But
people are doing it at home.
He's doing it, and he got in a lot of trouble. But there's like that specific gene was also known to have like some potential for increased like cognitive performance. And then so he kind of wanted to make his kids smarter or something. He got like super ostracized by the community and stuff like that. But potentially like that shit's already out here. Yeah. But like
that's in Star Trek. In Star Trek, in the canon, there was a war with augmented humans where like that technology made like superhumans.
Ah, jeez.
And then they tried to take over, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then so it's now banned. You're not allowed to make superhumans anymore.
Yeah,
in Star Trek.
Yeah.
Shit, bro. And now, got a couple questions. One about cryptocurrency.
Yeah, sure.
And one is just like a futurist idea I have about imagining. You know, in Mass Effect, there was the Geth that were like these bodies that had hundreds of programs inside of it.
Like a hive mind kind of thing. Yeah.
So I wonder if we'll get to a point where like internet collectives will have an avatar body of a robot that's out in the street that like 20 guys like all share the piloting of, you know?
Yeah,
so it's like inside that machine thing is like 20 consciousnesses all kind of like
Hey, we're seeing kind of like an experiment of that on like, I don't know, you've seen like Pokemon Twitch streamers where like all the people watching a channel can actually do an input and then
you're kind of like reading my fucking mind here, bro, because that's what I was thinking of when you were talking about the crowdsourced assassinations. Like, because the very first Twitch anything I remember hearing about was a stream of Pokemon. In which the chat decided what was being done.
Right.
Which is like what you were just talking about, right?
Yeah.
And that was like 2015 or something like that. Like that's the only earliest thing I remember on Twitch was that. And that's when I heard about the platform Twitch.
Yeah.
Like that's cool. Like a bunch of people are watching, playing this.
Yeah.
So imagining like, will there be a Twitch chat where like, we're killing people with drones?
Or there's like just trolling and things like that. They'll make this like robot. And there's actually like a lot of money that's going into like things where like people can pilot and interact with the robot, because like the reason they make a robot look like a robot and not on wheels and stuff is because people have to work in the same spaces as these robots, or like these robots are working alongside people.
Imagine that it keeps bumping into you, pushing you into the stove.
Yeah, pushing you. So it has to like work in the environment that we made for ourselves.
Robots,
like all these stupid wheels, like just tip it over or something. And then there's a lot of money that's going into like piloting the robot with like a VR headset. But yeah, I can totally imagine like a bunch of people, like when the technology's there, they just all go in the same thing and they can influence it as a group to how it works. It's kind of tricky.
So question I had was about the cryptocurrency stuff. And it kind of relates to the government with the Freedom Convoy thing going on right now.
Yeah.
And how they're so for people who don't know, the Canadian government has started this emergency act, and they'll be able to freeze the bank assets of anybody suspected of supporting the protest.
Right.
And that includes, they said that they're going to freeze any cryptocurrencies and stuff. Like confiscate it or whatever.
Yeah.
How's that possible? How's that work?
I don't know exactly what they're doing, but I think it's hard. it'll be harder when the tools are more established. But right now, like even though the tools themselves are the currencies are the digital currencies are like decentralized and everything, people still have to interact with them through easy to use interface, which is these exchanges.
Like an ATM for Bitcoin or something like that.
Just like a website like you heard of like Coinbase or Crypto.com, like somewhere where people like have to actually log in and give their ID, and make an account so that they can send money.
Like the real exchanging
And like put their money in bank account. But then like you can actually like do it without any of that. You can actually go into like a decentralized thing where it's not owned by Crypto.com, and then you can send the money. But right now it's like really hard. Like you have to be pretty technical, and then if you send the money, there's no recourse. Like with your bank account, you can
challenge charges and
you can have an appeal, or you can have like some record, and they'll be like, oh, like we'll pay you back. Or if you buy something from like a store with your Visa card, like if you like, I don't know, some people are sneaky about it. I never was there, or like maybe it's like a case of fraud.
Totally know what you mean.
Yeah. But then and you can just call up your credit card company and they can refund you. But then with crypto, there's not really that chance. So they have to rely on like ease of use, like interfaces, like exchanges and things like that.
Libertarian banking kind of style.
Kind of, yeah. But I think it's just like, it's a great idea. Like, but who wants to be their own bank? Like, it's kind of hard. Like, if you lose your address or your keys, then like you lose access to all your money.
Yeah.
So that's like the hard problem right now.
The comic Tim Dillon, if you know him, made this kind of fake movie promo about this movie called The Wallet that I thought was so damn funny. And it's about these two just moronic brothers who found out that their dad had a Bitcoin wallet with 100 Bitcoins in it from years ago, kind of thing.
Nice. And
it's just a funny little look at that potential story.
And that's a common problem. You hear like, they said that, so there's like a total of like 21 million Bitcoin that could ever be mined, and that's like a scarce resource. But it's like something crazy like 6 to 8 million, they think. They look at this through the addresses, because it's like all the information, you can actually just look at it and audit it, and they can see all these addresses where it's like they have a lot of money, like a lot of Bitcoin, and in total, in aggregate, it's like 8 million, which is worth like crazy billions of dollars that haven't been touched since like 2015, 2016, or like no, even before, like 2008, 2009, and they think that it's just like these are people that put it on a USB drive or like their whole hard drive, and then they just forgot about it. They forgot the password. So that's the thing,
I remember there was this message board I used to post on that was kind of like a weird message board. There's a lot of crime going on it as well.
What kind of message boards are you trying to?
TOTSI was the original.
Oh, I remember that.
TOTSI, yeah. And it stood for Temple of the Screaming Electron.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, and it was founded by a guy who was into phone hacking, and it was just about like all kinds of discussion, kind of nothing's taboo sort of thing.
Okay.
And one of the forums, this is just a background for what it was. It's not around anymore, actually.
Yeah.
But it was called Bad Ideas, the forum, where people just share like ideas for crimes, how to break into ATMs, and shit like that.
And you can still do that back then. Like, there's like a lot of like, it's the Wild West of the internet. Yeah.
But on there, I went on there to play Dungeons and Dragons, and because there's a lot of funny shit on there.
Yeah.
Not the crimes. And there was another follow-up forum called Zocklet that came after that. Was on for a couple of years. But on there, I remember reading about Bitcoin, like, you know, they were pretty early adopters to that sort of thing, especially being like criminals on the internet.
Yeah, okay.
And like, and it's funny, there was like, people were buying drugs on there too, like back when there was research chemicals.
Oh, really?
Where like basically bath salts. People were buying and selling bath salts on there.
Oh, days, okay.
Because they're research chemicals, because it's like one molecular configuration is illegal, but if we change one of the molecules, that's no longer an illegal substance kind of thing.
Whoa, okay. Dang.
Yeah, it's just research chemicals was the was the blanket. People were very into that when I was posting on there. But one of the things was about Bitcoins, and it was about the story of a guy who had used Bitcoin to pay for a pizza.
Right, 10,000.
And he paid like a fuckload, right?
Yeah.
He'd be like a rich man who just not bought that pizza.
Yeah. That's like the first use ever of money, and it was some guy that just posted it on a forums, and then he was just like, I have 10,000 Bitcoin, I'll trade it for a pizza. Anyone who will buy me pizza and bring it to my house, I'll do it. And then like, there's a plaque on that, I don't know, Domino's or Panago or whatever, that has like, it's like, this is the first transaction, and it's like kind of well done, it's pretty big, and it's just in that store. But it's just, that was the very first one. But it also makes you think, like, even in cases where you were early adopter for something, I think this might not be in the middle, to something, like, you might have sold or bought something with that Bitcoin earlier. Say you had like the moment it went to $1,000, you want to sell it because you're like, oh, it keeps going up and down. But then if you held it long term, it's like worth like what, like 50 grand now or something like that, 40, 50 grand. Yeah. So it's just like, yeah, it's just one of those things. Like,
you had no way of knowing.
Yeah.
It's like in Apple, there was another guy involved with the founding of Apple, like who, like had invested like $1,000, approximately. My numbers may be a little off, but he invested $1,000 into it, and got cold feet later on, was like, I want out, like I want my 1,000 back. And cashed out, and like if he had kept his shares, like imagine what he'd be worth, right? Just living a normal life now, thinking like I could have had it all. I could have
and it's so weird to think about,
living like a deity.
And you think that, I think that's like the feeling of just like restlessness against the system. I think it's because we're looking online and we're seeing like all these like 21-year-olds and 22-year-olds that, like, because they grew up while Bitcoin, maybe they're in high school and like Bitcoin was really exciting and they could just put a little bit of money, but it's like increased in value so much now, and then you're seeing these guys, they're getting NFTs, they're selling them for like millions of dollars. It's just like, man, that doesn't feel good. Like
just watching that shit,
no one feels like working. Like if you see like you can work at like all day and slave, or you can like just see what these guys are doing. So I think a lot of people are like, maybe, I don't know,
because there's so much you can do with money and finance that, like, to generate money that like you're not literally doing anything. Like it's all theoretical numbers that are just changing hands, and like nothing in the real world is actually being done, really.
Exactly. It's like a big circle jerk, right? It's just like there's like a lot of the crypto industry is called, like, this is just my opinion, I'm not an expert, but it's just like there's like decentralized finance, like DeFi. And then a lot of them are just like, they have like these things like liquidity pools. I don't really understand, but like I think they're gathering like.
It sounds like we're like the aliens spawn out of the liquidity pool. Something like that.
They're just like gathering money so that you can stake it. So like people are staking their money and they're getting some kind of return on that. But then the companies that are getting, or the projects that are getting all this money that people are buying into and staking to get some return, they're taking that and they're putting it into other projects, other crypto projects that are doing the same thing. So it's just like a giant Ponzi scheme. And then
it's
like
just money getting moved around.
And then like if you think about, like, it's such a fast growing thing. In 2018, the market cap for all of cryptocurrency was like 250 billion, which is a lot. But then if you think about the whole, I think it's the whole like stock market, or I'm not really sure exactly. I think it's the stock market, or I'm thinking about the whole banking system or something. It's like 13 to 15 trillion, or it's like 10 to 15 trillion. It's not like crazy, but it's like the whole market. But then the crypto market, the whole thing is like 3 trillion now. And it depends on when it is, like sometimes 2 to 3 trillion. But then like just like a few years ago, like in 2018, it was like 250 billion. So like it's like multiplied by a bunch.
What would be your sport, you think, if you were like an Olympian, you were to go back, like?
Jeez, you mean like now?
Yeah.
Like in this, like with what I know and shit?
No, maybe you're
or I'm like athletically inclined.
Yeah, you're a tight 125 pounds.
Probably like, I don't know, like not a fighting sport, not a lifting sport, probably like a gymnast or something.
Oh, gym? Okay. So you could be like a taekwondo guy.
But those guys are fighting hardcore.
Disqualified for like going too hard. Did you see that? If it was in when was it? The last Olympics, where it was taekwondo or it was karate. It was whenever it was the first time they had karate. I think it was like the last Olympics.
Okay.
Where the guy who won the gold medal, quote unquote, he knocked out his opponent with a strike.
Okay.
And that was deemed like unsportsmanlike for the guy to have been knocked out.
Right.
So they gave the gold medal to the guy who was KO'd.
Oh, I think I saw that.
Loss to the winner.
It's because he kicked too hard. He went too powerful. Which doesn't make sense. Like, you want to be
makes no fucking
fast.
sense.
You want to like hit him.
I would say the responsibility is on the other guy to not get kicked in the face,
not get knocked out.
Right? It seems like that's kind of what he should be aiming for.
Like, I just think that like I'm not in the community. I don't know much about it, but then it's just like it gets the spirit of the rules, you know, like the spirit of the martial art. Like,
and it was like the debut of the sport, right? So everyone's like, "What's this mamsy-pamsy bullshit karate?"
So is it still? So it was never in the Olympics, and
I mean, hopefully I'm not just making that shit up.
That's okay. But this podcast is all about that.
fuck it, you know?
Yeah.
You know what? Let's forget I said any of that. So what happened is it was the first time karate was in the
I know for sure. I was there, you know? We were there.
In the Olympics, which is every year.
Yeah.
And, yeah. So imagine being the guy who was knocked out, and they're like, you won, you know? The other guy beat your ass too bad.
He probably doesn't feel very good.
I gotta be so ashamed.
And it's like in the UFC where, like some people's like only loss is like a disqualification.
Yep, there's the
like,
Jones and Hamill. Hamill with the most prestigious win in the sport.
Yeah, the 12-6.
And there's how Aljamain Sterling is the bantamweight champion.
Aljamain, I don't know that person.
Which was off. He was getting ripped all off because he fought this guy Peter Yan.
Oh, I've heard of him.
Belt.
Yeah.
And Peter Yan, the writing was on the wall for that Alja was probably going down in that fight. Peter was just tagging him up and looking way better.
Okay.
And then there's a scramble. Alja's getting up. Peter hits him with the fucking knee. Well, he's got like a knee on the ground.
Oh, so you're not allowed to do that.
Exactly, yeah. So it's like if you have like that 3 points of contact or something that. It's a grounded opponent. You can't strike to the head of a grounded opponent.
Okay.
So he hits him with the knee kind of like on the way up. And then Aljamain, goes down. Like,
oh, I might have seen that actually.
There was speculation as to whether it was a flop because in that situation, if he couldn't continue, he's the winner. So he's certainly incentivized to not be able to continue, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, oh God, my head.
Oh. I mean, it probably hurt. Like, it probably hurt to get knee in the head. But then, like...
And so like after that, I feel like the public was a little soured on Aljamain. He was getting made fun of a lot. And was very unapologetic about it. He was like, "I'm the champion, bro. Like, put some respect on my name." Man. Yeah, I took that belt. But, yeah.
It's like one of these like technicalities that is just like, even if you win, like, I don't know, is that really a win?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And then it's just like I was watching this like martial art or like this like self-defense expert dude, and he seemed legit. I can't like judge. I don't know, but he like just like talked about each of these like martial arts, and then he's like some of them were better than others because they had included like conflict resolution and they're like in a more realistic setting. So like he gave like some example like even though like wrestling is like you're really physically strong, but then a lot of the rules because of like the point system and things like that. And like it doesn't tie into any of the real life like
you're not trained to strike on the ground. Like, you're not trained to submit them. You're just trained to hold them down. Which I mean, like in certain situations, that's probably the best martial art, right?
But as long as like they have, as soon as they have a friend or something like that, they kick. They kick you in the head.
2-on-1. There's no martial art.
There's none.
That can guarantee you a 2-on-1 victory.
Yeah, exactly. So it's pretty like, and there's like a lot of sports that he ran through that is just like over optimized for like Taekwondo. I did Taekwondo myself, so I know. There's like a lot of them are like hands are down. And because there's incentive to like just get the points, it's like a point system. Totally. You just like kick them, and so. But then anything that goes to the ground, there's nothing for that. There's no punching even.
Exactly. And like just to the body, is it, or is that karate?
I think there's karate. I think you can punch to the body. But I don't think you're like punching to the head. Yeah, exactly. Which is a huge part of combat, I guess.
Yeah, it's important.
So it's just like funny things like that.
But I can say like if you think of something like Taekwondo, right? You have to have your hands down because you need to have balance to lift your leg off the ground, right? So you need your hands by your waist. Because if you're like this and you're lifting your legs off the ground, like it's pretty hard to do it. Yeah. Surprisingly hard to do it, to throw a high kick with your hands up here versus down here.
Yeah. And then like if you're in that thing where everything you're training is to just like get the points within that constraint. The goals
of the sport martial art. Right? Yeah. It's like sport jiu-jitsu. Yeah. Like there's this move called the berimbolo, I believe it's called, that is a certain type of sweep.
Okay.
That if someone if they could punch you, they would, right?
Oh, okay,
you would get destroyed, right? If you tried to use a berimbolo in a street fight.
Okay, how does it look like?
It's like it's underneath. It's like a guard move, and you're like you kind of do an inversion sort of thing. I mean, I might be describing it wrong. It's like I know it involves an inversion and like kind of wrapping the legs around them weirdly to get their back.
Oh, okay.
Sort of thing.
But they could hit you if they wanted to.
Yeah,
because you're just tied up. But okay.
And if you remember, when Eddie Bravo just like wiped the floor with Hoyler Gracie in their second match.
I watched it again recently. Yeah.
He fucked them up.
Yeah.
And but then there was a Gracie breakdown of some other Gracies afterwards, and they were commenting on how Eddie's style wasn't actually effective because like for Eddie to do that Hoyler, if he wanted to punch him, he could have punched him.
Oh, okay. Because his thing is like he does a side control. Is it like half guard, and he just like hangs on the side.
Exactly. There's a lot of just sitting on the bottom and very slowly, like a snake, kind of slowly.
And then he tries to get his like leg and his other leg to split apart.
Yeah, he does.
It's like kind of fucked up when we were looking.
Sweep called the electric chair.
Right. Yeah, that's his famous one where he tries to like.
He hit him with it like 3
make
times.
His leg grab and pull this up and pull this to his chest. I guess.
Like that match was just Hoyler trying to survive in there with Eddie, which is badass.
It's pretty cool. That's pretty badass. Yeah.
Because I think probably a lot of guys would have tapped at the end when Eddie had him in the leg lock. That was just
some of these angles are just so fucking.
Yeah.
And then it's like. Is it worth it? Like, I don't know. Like, it's just a lot of ego on the line. It's like your whole lineage and stuff. But his leg was like at an angle that was like.
And apparently they said like it was popping and shit at the time. And Hoyler was saying like, it's okay, it does that.
But maybe it does. He's double jointed. I don't know.
If you get caught in leg locks a lot.
Oh god.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's a fantastic match, man. Like the Hoyler and Eddie Bravo match.
Yeah.
For just like people who aren't into jiu-jitsu, like it's great because there's great energy in the room too. Like when Eddie hits these like weird complex sweeps and like the crowd goes wild kind of thing.
Do you think it'd be interesting for people that aren't interested in martial arts? Like, I'm not sure. I just don't know.
That would be the one I would show somebody, probably.
Okay.
If I was trying to show somebody who had never seen jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Though there are, it's a 20-minute match.
It's 20 minutes, right?
And there's no stoppage, so.
And a lot of times they're just kind of wrapped around each other.
So there's a lot of time like that. Yeah. But, God, for me, those moments hit so well. Like when Eddie hits the sweep, gets top position.
But you're a pretty sophisticated viewer, I would say. Like you did some jiu-jitsu yourself. You're really into MMA. So like, but I would think that a lot of people like just see the two dudes rolling on the floor. So I don't know.
Probably right. Yeah. But another sport that me and the other BBG guys.
Yeah.
Which is a group of friends I have called the BBG.
Yeah.
We were watching arm wrestling.
Yeah, that's a weird one too. Yeah, I saw a few. And
so fun to watch, just because like there's like such machismo and intensity about it. Like they're popping off like whoa after like winning a match and stuff like that.
Weird. There's a weird. I think anything's gonna have a weird subculture. Yeah.
There's this guy Devin Lorette who's like one of the GOAT arm wrestlers.
Okay.
He's Canadian.
Yeah.
And we've kind of just been like following him for the past 2 years or so.
Whoa, so you're a big fan. You guys are.
Well, I mean, more than the average person in that we've watched matches kind of thing.
Like all the way through. Like, I've seen clips, but I don't think I've ever watched.
We're watching the whole match.
Okay, you guys are fans. Okay, you guys are really fans. Well, weird.
And like watching like Devin's matches against all these different guys, you kind of start to recognize the guys on the scene and stuff.
Okay.
And man, it's like well, there's one, maybe I'll show you afterward. It's Devin Lorette versus Jerry Cadaret.
Okay.
And like just the highs and lows in that are so great.
It's just the arm wrestle.
It's just arm wrestling.
But the highs and lows is like like the arms low and then like sometimes they get higher.
I mean like just the intensity. Like when one guy wins, just like getting in the face of the other guy, like it's just that easy. And the other guy, like just the look of shame and hurt on his face. And it's interesting. Like the technique is. I learned the technique a little bit, but it's more of like a pull towards you kind of thing.
Oh, okay.
Than just a side by side.
Because there's more muscle, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
How did you guys get into this? This is interesting.
Well, I think I can take credit. I was the first one to get into arm wrestling.
Have you seen slapping?
Yeah, of course I've seen slapping.
It's kind of like a similar kind of environment where it's just like two guys in front of each other. They go take turns slapping each other. Do you watch that? Or?
Yeah, I've seen that for sure. Like Vasily Komatsky.
I don't know. You know the names. That's impressive. Okay.
It's funny. We were hanging out at Stengel's place like last time, and we started watching stuff like HEMA, the historical European martial arts of guys wearing armor using swords, and also pole vaulting. We were watching some women's pole vaulting.
Oh, okay.
And, it elicited like big pop-offs in the room. Like there's this one German chick kind of thing. Like no one was able to get above this one line. I mean, she's not going to get it. Obviously, no. She's just failed 2 times. And then the third time comes around, we're like, she fucking did it! I can't believe it.
That's awesome.
So there are genuine moments of like sport excitement involved.
Yeah.
Let me check out some women's pole vaulting.
Okay, sure. Yeah. There's like a weird niche one that me and a buddy were kind of curious about. We were watching like Paralympics, and there was like Paralympic swimming, which is like, it's kind of weird because like everyone in the Paralympics has like different degrees of
Yeah,
disabilities.
totally. And there's categories for it, right?
Oh, is there?
As far as I know, I think they have categories for the severity.
Because it just looked
disability.
like some of them just like wasn't fair. Like to me,
Oh,
like,
really? Yeah.
like some of them like had like I don't know if I just saw it wrong or whatever. Because in the water it's hard to see.
Yeah.
But I felt like some of them were like, they were just. The size difference, and like they were missing like maybe their legs, so they only had their torso to like swim through the thing. And then other people would have like they look like they're mostly have their entire body, but they're missing like a hand or something like that.
Yeah.
And then it's like it just didn't seem fair to me. But I don't know. Maybe I just didn't know.
Imagine that.
That was kind of
lost
interesting.
your ear in an accident.
You're just like going
I'm the
in front of
greatest handicapped swimmer in the world.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that was an interesting one. But yeah,
I wonder what kind of body types like. Because there are those people who, like, there's the drug thalidomide, I think, for pregnant mothers. And, and, like, it's regularly caused a certain birth defect of, like, little flipper limbs.
Oh, okay.
So, I wonder, like...
But they compete in this, like, competition?
I don't know. I'm just
throwing
ideas out there, you know?
Okay.
Like, I wonder how, if having, like... I guess, you know what? Mechanically, having long limbs would be better.
Right.
Yeah. But, maybe there should be a thalidomide flipper limb league.
I like all of this. Like it's like intensely hard. Like just like I'm scared of swimming. I hate swimming like with my regular body. Like I'm just like props to them to like compete and go.
No, totally. You don't like swimming?
I don't like swimming. I don't. You like swimming?
Yeah, I don't swim fine. Yeah.
I don't like swimming. It's hard to breathe. It's hard to breathe in the water.
Yeah.
This is yucky.
You're doing it wrong. You gotta get your head above to take the breaths.
Fuck, really?
Yeah. If you breathe when you're down there, you're fucked, bro.
Do you know, like...
That's not good swimming.
It's bad swimming. Like, with the advent of, like, gene editing and stuff, like CRISPR and things like that, I guess, like, sports and things like that, like, if, like, the general population can have access to, like, buying upgrades for themselves, like, would they still, like...
Are the athletes going to be just like the peasant, unaugmented population?
So they would have to.
We're like, well, I could beat all those guys, but I had horse legs put on. I mean, a couple years.
But then would it make like competition not even mean anything anymore? It's just like whoever has the most money and access to resources.
It absolutely would mean competition means nothing anymore. Yeah. It would be the end of real competition.
Yeah, that's kind of sad too.
Because the competition is based on a level playing field, and if like we have the technology to de-level it.
Yeah.
I guess that's the end of that.
Yeah. No.
It'd be more like pro wrestling. Yeah.
I guess. It'd be just kind of fun.
Like that, yeah.
It'd be more like around the characters and like how like well they talk shit and stuff
Hell
like
yeah,
that.
Dude.
And you're like, yeah, it's my favorite the sprinter. You know, just like a giant like spider legs, like 6 limbs, like
like that doesn't look human at all anymore. just a spider covered in skin.
Or is it a giant wheel? The wheels are his like bones. He just like flesh-looking bone thing, the wheel-looking thing.
Like that. Flash. Well, it's like that guy in the. Was he in the Special Olympics who had the blades for his feet?
Oh yeah.
Was that in the Paralympics or was that guy in the normal Olympics?
I think the Paralympics.
Did he smoke everybody out there?
He had like carbon fiber legs that like they just like energy
that
transmission.
Propel him onward.
They're just so much better than our regular shitty legs.
Boy, what the hell, man? Yeah, it's like for us to get push off. We would have to like land on the feet and push off with like the muscles of the foot and leg.
Right. Wow. And there's some energy loss, but when that happens,
Yeah.
right? Not that I'm a fucking pro athlete, I don't know.
Yeah.
But
I was watching, in my stream of watching kind of niche sports, I was watching a lot of marathon videos and about like the advancement of the marathon records and stuff over time and certain sprint records.
Right.
And apparently just the shoes. Makes a huge difference, especially in a long, like a full marathon.
And those guys like are like super, super skinny. Like if you didn't know they were runners, you would think they're unhealthy, but they're not unhealthy. They're like extreme athletes.
They look too skinny.
They look too skinny, right?
The distance runners guys, like the sprinters, I mean, they're fucking
sprinters look like yoked. I was gonna bring this up. This is like totally off topic, but I've been watching this like. I got sucked into this show called Maid. It's like about like a single mom who has to work really hard.
Yeah.
And
is it the Margaret Qualley show?
Oh, I don't know.
It's about like a hot young chick.
Yeah. It might be.
Is it the chick from Death Stranding? Mama from Death Stranding?
No, I'm not sure. Mm-hmm. But that's besides the point. It's just another girl, and then there's like a good-looking guy who's her ex-boyfriend. That's like he has some good qualities, but like she tries to leave him because he has like he's like abusive and tries to hit her and stuff like that when he's drunk. But then she finds this other guy who's like this like nerdy dude who's like really stable and good guy, but like he's not conventionally attractive because he's like, I don't know. He's just like
the plight of the common man.
He's like polite. But then the scene where he's like he has a kid himself, and then he like invites her to their house to stay because she has nowhere else to go and stuff like that. And he's like a really good guy, and they try to make him like this like soft beta guy who's like really nice. But then like there's this one scene where like she's starting to like him a little bit. He takes his shirt off because he's getting ready to bed, but he's ripped. He has like 8-pack and everything like that. Like what the fuck? Like this is so stupid. Like where's he like time to get yoked? Like
absolutely, dude. Yeah,
so dumb.
In like films and television.
Yeah,
where are the ugly people, man?
There's no ugly people.
That's not what people look like in real life. It's
right?
It's like we're looking at like Olivia Wilde, right? Like working in some office setting, and it's just like.
She's a nerdy girl. She with like some glasses.
Hot. Yeah.
She's like,
if she really worked in this office, everybody would just be talking about how hot she is all the time.
They wouldn't work. They wouldn't do anything.
Yeah, it's like it's just not realistic. They have such beautiful people on screen all the time.
Right? Yeah.
Let's get some more John C. Reillys out there.
Yeah, exactly. We need some like Jonah Hills. We need some Seth Rogens. Like that needs to be
just guys with curly hair.
Yeah. Like or just like you. If you were walking down in any environment and you saw anybody that you see in movies, you would like look twice at them.
That's exactly what I mean. Yeah, like it would be a thing that they're that good looking.
Yeah,
because it's very unusual to be that hot.
Yeah. Anyways, that was just like thing where it's just like you see like even the nerdy guy.
There's no reason for him to have those muscles.
Right. It's like when's he time like in between his like engineering job, like he's an engineer in the story. He's like full time single dad, and then he has time to get yoked. Like he's like this like really ripped like.
He's like raising my child to like my face to give it a kiss kind of thing every night. It's like it makes you ripped.
Have you seen like all these movies where it's just like it's like these like guys that they have no like reason to be as ripped as they are, but for whatever reason like they're a survivor like in this thing, or it's like the fat character. This fat character, he's in a zombie survival movie, and it's like 8 years into the apocalypse, but he's still like 300 pounds or something.
He's like Hurley from Lost.
Doesn't make any sense. Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like I don't know.
Totally, absolutely, that should be more of a thing, right?
Yeah.
Because things like decisions like that is, because if you were to see the movie, the viewers would think it was cool, right? And it would just show like a real commitment to the storytelling.
Yeah.
But like, more ugly people, bro.
Like the Masochist, or the Machinist, not the Masochist.
Yeah.
It's like Christian Bale lost like so much weight where he's like really scary looking.
20 pounds or something like that.
Yeah, he's like a tall, big dude.
Yeah.
So it's like that kind of commitment. I don't need that. Like I can suspend my disbelief. Like this is like a skinny dude, but like don't make it like where it just like takes you out of the environment.
Absolutely.
But I don't know. Everyone doesn't like. Not everyone cares like about this, but I just think like I don't know. It's a weird tangent.
Yeah. Because it's like I'm supposed to believe that like this new chick just moved to the city and is like one of the hottest girls anyone's ever seen. Yeah. And like she can't fit in and nobody likes her and stuff like that.
That's like the thing. Like I don't want to sound like annoying, but it's just like it helps a lot. Like attractive people have a lot of friends. Like
people like you better and treat you better.
Yeah.
Definitely sure.
I think so.
Right? And just like in terms of estimating your abilities and stuff like that, people are gonna act like you're better at everything than you are. And like,
have I told you my golden retriever theory? Like how we have like certain ideas of.
Let's hear it.
Okay. Like we have certain ideas of, like certain breeds of dogs are friendlier. Like you see a pit bull or Rottweiler and you're like, stay away from that. Yeah. Which is like maybe founded because like it has some bad stories. But then
well, in that case, it's like 98% of all dog attacks.
Yeah, it's kind of bad. But it's like maybe it's like because like the the douchebag, like steroid monkey,
the
like
people who wants
to get a pit bull. I don't know why I took that example.
For sure, part of it, right? Yeah.
But like golden retrievers, like everyone loves golden retrievers because like you see in the movies, they're like the friendly family dog.
Saw him play basketball in the movie.
Yeah, they play basketball, they play soccer, they play all the sports. Yeah. And then
Bud was a multi-sport athlete.
He was. They made different movies. It was like a different dog, but they said it was the same dog. I don't know. And then his kids, Air Bud kids, had like a whole litter of dogs that would play soccer too. So they had a whole team. Holy yeah, you didn't see those movies?
No.
Yeah, they were. I don't know how they're that good.
I knew about Air Bud. Yeah.
I saw Air Bud a lot. I saw that a lot.
The kind of thing you just put on every day after school.
Yeah. I think like kids have this like retarded thing, or like I shouldn't say that, but it's just like some weird loop in their head where like I think they like the predictability of like watching the same shows because the rest of life is so unpredictable that
I don't think that's kids anymore. I think that's people. Right? How many grown people do you know rewatch the same stuff?
The same like Friends series.
Because like it's familiar. It feels like I'm hanging out with my friends at Greendale Community College, right?
Community. Yeah. Okay, so I don't get sidetracked, but like the golden retriever theory is just like. We see them in movies and they're always friendly. So like when we see the dog, we're more likely to be like, oh, I can pet the dog, or like I can smile at it, and then the dog's like, oh, I'm awesome. Like they love me. Everyone loves me. Yeah. And everybody goes up, and it's like a self-reinforcing loop.
Yeah.
And then their confidence in being around other people, their happiness and levels, versus the opposite. It was like a really scary looking dog. Everyone would be kind of standoffish. Like every time like. If they can sense the anxiety, like the body language, and maybe the chemicals, pheromones or whatever.
Absolutely.
Hormones, I don't know, the stress hormones and stuff like that the dogs can smell maybe.
Yeah.
And then they're like, ugh. Every time they see me, like these people, they don't trust me, maybe I shouldn't trust them.
Incel dogs,
incel people. and then like maybe that carries to the people too.
Unpetible. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, I think you're totally right.
Yeah.
You know?
I don't know. It's just bro theory.
Just like with the like.
We need to write a paper on
karate
this.
was just added to the Olympics. I'll say with 100% confidence that that's right. That's true. What you're saying.
How does the karate? Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Just declaring what happened.
I think that's a good thing. You know, I think it's too easy to Google things now. I like this. Yeah. The process of conversing and getting to like.
We'll work through it. Yeah.
We'll work through it. Well, we shape our reality. And it's like. How much of like the world do we actually know is like real? And like I know it's real, but it's just like if you like look at the woo woo like stuff, it's just like all you really know about is like the stores that you go to, the places that you are, the people that you meet, and then everything else that you get is from our like this little box of our phone, you know, of our computer, and then we shape like this entire story upon story based on like people talking on YouTube and like where do they get their ideas from? It's like they get the people that they influence, and it's just like this reinforcing house of cards that builds upon each other.
Yeah, that's like if I think the theory is right. If there was a flat Earth, right? The theory would be that the government, like people, no one's ever been far enough in the world to see. No one's been to the edge of the world to see for themselves, and like the government controls the flow of information.
Yeah. It's like they get all these theories and stuff.
It's like a Big Shell.
Oh yeah, and
Big Shell like controlling everything you see and hear.
Dude, that's so like that game was like
prescient
2000 and what 2000 what was it 2000 like early 2000s or.
And currently governments are working on Big Shell. Yeah.
But it's just like the easiest way to influence like behaviors at a mass scale is through like I think maybe social media, and it doesn't have to be a lot. It could just be like. Just like little bits at a time, where it's just like instead of being able to do A, because you've seen B several times through the day, and like in your like maybe it's like it's sending you more instances of people that you admire and respect doing B or whatever, or people that you might admire, and then maybe you would lean more towards like B.
Again, I think that absolutely is going on.
Yeah. But then
because that's how you do it. That's how you'd influence people.
Right.
Yeah. And it's like it's like the Roman Catholic Church, right? And the Roman Empire. Like when the empire gets to be so great that you have all these different cultures, let's implement the Roman Catholic Church in order to unify like a belief system throughout the whole.
They needed that. Like otherwise, people would fight. But people are very tribal, and it's like so you need like a shared story.
And it's like our social media manipulation now is like our new Catholic Church.
Way lamer. Like, it just seems less important. But if we went back in time, I think like if we were in those like ancient like the peak of like the greatest civilizations, like peak of the like the Egyptian pharaohs, peak of like the greatest like Marcus Aurelius, like by their standards it was really good, but I think we'd be like, what a shithole, like this sucks. Like I have to poo in like in the public area with a bunch of other dudes like that's pooping next to me.
We're all taking a bath together.
Yeah, all taking a bath together. Like, I don't have like running water.
Gross, man.
It's gross. like you know, like, and then they were saying like, wasn't it you? I was talking about like castles. You think of them and like, oh, the king in the castle, it must be like really prestigious, but they were like the most gross, nasty places because it's like all these like nobility and these like people, they would all try to be in the court of the king, but then it's like their hygiene wasn't very good.
Yeah, they're not showering.
Like they're just throwing their poop over the side of the castle into the moat or whatever.
Podcast just outside.
And you imagine like the bed bugs and the fleas and the ticks and just like, everywhere, all these like parasites.
Just consider like they weren't going to invent weather stripping, right, around windows, like the seal to keep like the draft out for another 100 years or something. Right. Yeah, all the modern conveniences we have, like of well, heating, I guess they would have had, but it wouldn't be efficient heating. Like they're not going to have like heating duct systems and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like weather stripping, you got a window. It's just like a couple of wooden slabs in front of it, right?
Right. So it'd be just like you'd be cold all the time.
Yeah.
You'd be around like smelly, gross people all the time.
It would be really damp and stuff like that.
And like
mold and mildew would start, and you wouldn't even know what it is. You're like, "Is that a vegetable?"
And then, like, just like the company that you'd be around, like everyone's like ideas of like the world and life is just like influenced by like the people around those people, and like the people that they know, and the people that they know are just like other also similar positions. I'm not saying we're like any better, but like I feel like we have a lot more information now.
But like back then, it's like you'd be like, my best buddy, he's got a hole in his skull that they drilled to let a ghost out.
Yeah, exactly. Like the foundation of knowledge is like so misguided, like it's just like everything's from I don't want to poo-poo like religion or anything. It's just like from the guys in power in the church are telling the masses to help them, and maybe that's like we can see the comparison might be with like big corporations that have like a vested interest.
There's absolutely a parallel there, because you think of like restrictions in religions on things like eating pork in some religions would have been more of a hygiene thing, right? Because people were getting sick from it, so they're like, well, let's just make this in the religion that you don't eat that, so they won't get sick anymore.
And if I was like trying to get a large group of people, I would like, it's easy to make people fear like this, like maybe the wrath of God, or like if it was like not in the context of religion, I could be just like, oh, evil spirits or evil negative. Yeah, if I can say it in like the modern days, I'd be like maybe negative ions.
Right? Oh yeah. It's very alt right what you're saying.
I'd be like the quantum entanglement. Like I was like use some science.
Oh
like,
go some Scientology. Like check your E-meter, check your thetans. Like you got a bunch of sad ghosts in you, bro.
Too many sad ghosts is because you're eating too much pork. And like, but maybe that's what we need to like to get people to be vegetarians. Like I think like I wish I could be vegetarian, because I think like meat is just like animals. I feel like they probably have like as rich a conscious experience as we do, but we just treat them so badly, and we eat them and we package them.
I eat tons of meat, but at the same time, I do think that like realistically, we do have the technology probably to start moving away from it and finding some substitutes that are like just as pleasing, but it would be a big cultural shift. Yeah. People have this like weird gross thing of like lab grown meat. Like they do surveys like to test them, and people have like a really disgusted like reaction. But even though it doesn't make sense, it's like it's like decoupled from like all the like the gross like butcher places and like germs. So it's more gross than like just like a feces caked pig side that like was like this pig's had parasites 3 times.
Like
it's a piece of its flesh,
and it's had to go through this whole like conveyor belt factory of like a bunch of people working on it and cutting it into
where it's getting skinned and boiled alive.
Geez, that's so sad. But then like the lab grown meat is like it's literally made in a lab. Like in a lab, it's made from the best parts. Like it's wow.
They took out the pain. They used CRISPR to. It used to be some guy's children's in China, but he used CRISPR, and now they're just cubes of meat you shave off.
Would that be like kind of fucked up if like to grow organs like for organ donations in the organ market, like they had to make the clones, but then like they would do it in a way where there's no like only like the bare minimum, like just the stem.
Shell, it's just enough to keep it alive.
Yeah, it's like the autonomous functions, like the breathing and the heartbeat and things like that, and their blood circulation. But none of the higher order like memories and thinking. Like, but that'd be really like morally, it supposedly be okay because like there's no consciousness and no one there to suffer.
Yeah.
But then it's really gross eating, like if you like you got meat and you're eating people because only people can consent.
Yeah, there's kind of a movie about that sort of, and it's about people who don't have like their senses dulled. I think it's a Robert Pattinson movie.
Oh really?
It might be called Remember Me. I'm not sure.
Remember Me now. It's Remember Me.
It's a Robert Pattinson movie called Remember Me.
Oh, did it stop recording?
We'll do it with no countdown.
Okay, so we're talking about like the idea of like getting your photograph taken. Nick, do you like your photos taken?
I'm pretty neutral about it, you know, because I feel like I'm a normal looking guy, you know, so it's like if I was really ugly or something like that, I might be more insecure about it, but
right.
You know, not saying I think I'm super handsome, but it's like, you know, I'm okay.
Sure,
so it's like, yeah, it would bother me more if I was morbidly obese and covered in acne or something.
Okay.
Probably, yeah.
Okay.
You know?
So like I think we were talking about like why do girls seem like they like getting their photo taken like a lot more than guys do, like.
Yeah, so I do think it's different in the way that's what we want to do with all these pictures of us. So, because it's like, if you look at a lot of dudes, they're probably not going to have like 30 pictures of them in the same like the same situation and outfit, just like slightly moved with a smile on or something like that.
Right, yeah.
And whereas I think, like, if I were to advertise myself to potential women,
you'd be doing something.
Yeah, probably. Exactly. It's not my appearance, really. I would like want to show how good I am at woodworking or music or something like that. Whereas I feel like, you know, probably with the women, their branding, you know, personal branding as far as attracting mates probably has more to do with just looking hot.
Yeah, that's like the general like vibe that you get. You go on like you look at different Tinder accounts, and you see like a lot of girls would have. In general, I think ladies just have more pictures of themselves. And I think there's like something to be said about like maybe just like, first of all, they're better looking as a guy. Maybe we're biased, but like
we love looking at these pictures. Like it's, you know, it's
and like fashion,
not complaining,
and like clothing and stuff. Like there's a lot more
they look great
to do and things like that. But then I think there's like something about like a picture of a guy that's taking his picture, like there's something frowned upon that. Like no guy wants his picture like just because he looks douchey if he's not doing anything.
There definitely is like a little bit of like it's too feminine for a guy to be doing that. In a way.
It's like a weird cultural like social thing. Yeah.
I guess like being guys too, it comes because we are not into that. So we're like, what's with that guy?
Like I would like want a good photo of myself, but I wouldn't want people to
know that I was trying to look handsome in the photo.
Yeah, exactly, right? So it's just like this stupid, like weird reverse backwards thing.
People are saying like, he thinks he looks good.
Like, and it's like really embarrassing. But it's just like everyone wants a good photo of them, but they don't want to like pretend like they put too much effort into it, or like.
And it so seems like ladies too like have. As just, I guess, growing up with that culture, like, are good at just, like, knowing how to relax their face in a certain way. They have, like, looks that they do. Or, like, know to put their hand up, like, in a certain way. You know, you see that all the time with, like, chicks putting their hand up in their face.
Or like, they do something, right? Which is, like, as a photographer, like, that's something really, like, good to do. Like, to create shapes and, like, some texture. Or,
I'm
like,
not a photographer.
So you're not just, like, your hand
just
down.
look at We should do a photo shoot of chicks with their hands by their sides, just
like do like a whole like do you go to social media? Do you go to like online dating or anything like that?
No.
We could have like a whole photo shoot for you, and then you can just like do like we'll just make it as cheesy as possible.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll be like a counter signal, like we're so like advanced that we don't need to play this game of this like
we're above the game.
We don't need those social norms. So maybe we can do that.
One of me like is like a bad boy with like a studded vest.
Do it right now, dog.
Fingerless gloves. I'm like, I'm looking for a girl who can handle me.
Like, but then we saw like exactly the same like. Not even the same poses. Like, it doesn't have to be feminine poses, but you did the exact same thing. Like, you dressed up nicely, and then you like sat in like a very Instagrammable place, and like you like did like different things. Like, you'd get like ragged on so hard.
Oh yeah.
Like you'd get like joked about. Like,
totally. Yeah.
I don't know.
And I would make fun of them too. I would join in. You know, I'm guilty of it too.
But we still need like pictures for our social media. Like, we still need to get our presence out there. So it's weird, right?
Because you want to get a picture of you looking handsome, but you don't want to have to try and look handsome for the picture. Everybody will know you're trying.
It's like so no guys like being rewarded. They have to be doing something.
Yeah.
Like
doing something. Catch me looking accidentally handsome.
Yeah. Okay. While doing something like
I'm
admirable.
Stuffing a body into a chip. Okay, admirable.
You're saving. You're reading to orphans.
Reading to orphans.
You're saving.
I didn't kill their parents, right?
No, you were in the cause of the orphan.
So I met them after. Okay.
Yeah. So that's fine.
What am I reading to them? Like the Kama Sutra or something weird.
No, you can't do that. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Like something that like something like a children's book.
Dude, here's what you do. You take the picture,
Poems.
you
Yeah.
position the book so that the cover is like plainly and flat within the image so that you can easily Photoshop whatever you need on there.
Like what? Yeah, it could be like
Do you know the
like
girl?
a feminism book
Dude,
or like
absolutely. Feminism book, anti-feminism book, if they're
anti-feminism.
into that.
There's a men's right movement. Did you know there's a men's right movement? I saw a whole documentary
MRA
of that.
book. Well, yeah, of course I've heard of that.
But we don't want to do that. Like, I don't think that'd be a good social media dating
Yeah.
thing. Unless
Probably
you're
not.
looking for other men's rights dudes to date or something.
Dude, yeah, we're gonna fucking jerk off
Oh
together.
god, like men's rights.
Talk about how hard done
Nothing against that, but weird.
But yeah, we're not sexually attracted to men's rights.
Men's rights.
Male men's rights activists.
activists.
Have you got a female MRA? Yeah. I mean,
So what's the idea around that? I don't remember. I saw like a quick YouTube documentary about it, but how would you summarize a men's rights movement? Because a lot of people don't know about it, so maybe we're getting...
I don't know that much about it, but I guess my understanding, ignorant as it may be, is that men definitely they get the short end of the stick in terms of violence, law,
Sure.
family law, stuff like that.
It's like save the women and children. It's not save the dudes, save the bros.
Yeah, dude, yeah, that you could say that too, right? And it's I honestly would agree that a man's life is worth less than a woman's life because a man can't have a children.
Yeah, we can't make the babies.
Yeah, have a children.
Which is pretty OP. Like that's like a pretty like powerful thing to be able to do.
Because you would only need like one man for a group of women, right?
Right, I guess, yeah. If you
Just
want
like
to,
in the wild,
if you had to like restart your fantasy of
if-
restarting civilization and being the god emperor,
Yeah.
the king of all the people.
In a hypothetical world where you could possibly stay sane, being like nagged by all those women
Can you imagine like the metaverse?
in a fantasy world,
You
where
would just
that
be
could
like
happen.
the metaverse, and you're just like in your virtual world where you're the only guy, and then it's
Why
like
the Last Man? Like,
there's like the TV show about that. But like that would be like for most like guys, like normal average guys like that, that'd be a really cool scenario to be in, and then like people log into that. It's indistinguishable from the real thing.
Yeah.
Like
I would just be like, right away, all favors are gonna sexual in return. Like, I'll do whatever you need me to do, but that's the payment from now on.
this is like the bonobo lifestyle, right? Apparently bonobo is like they do like conflict resolution through sex and things like that.
Through sucking dick?
I don't know about that, but like they just like regular sex. I think I don't know if bonobos give oral sex.
I would just start conflicts all the time. I would need to resolve it.
Like apparently like they have really low levels of like well also like internal aggression, but like I don't know what the term is, but like cross like group conflict is pretty low because they have this means of diffusing it. But chimpanzees are not intergroup like wars and things like that. But like they don't have that like intergroup violence that much because they just solve it with sex. I'm not an expert, so I might just be making this up, but I think that's
having sex. Yeah.
It's like a primatology thing.
Yeah.
We'll just use that ology to make it seem less weird and creepy.
So, like, maybe, perhaps, if we had the technology, and when Putin is still in power in 20 years in Russia, whatever leader we have, maybe when they meet to discuss, stopping their invasion of France, because they've already worked all the way through Europe by then, and they're now in France. They're just taking, there's some Russian separatists that live in France, so we're going to absorb them right in France.
You were saying that they should both go in the VR thing.
Yeah.
And solve the problem.
Yeah, solve the problem like bonobos would.
But it's not...
By sucking and fucking to peace. How about that for a t-shirt? Sucking and fucking to peace.
I don't know, man. That could be merch.
Picture of a bonobo.
Let's see what bonobos look like. I'll do it later.
And then people would just like say, I have to know what that shirt's about. And be like, well, come back to my place.
Hikikomori Shut-ins Club.
Yeah.
Listen to our shit.
Yeah. Listen to Hikikomori Shut-ins Club.
Alright, you want to end there?
Yeah, I think it's a good place to leave it.
We went off the rails there.
Oh,